furnaces, generators, and much more. And they're the area's only York brand dealer. That's why Michiana has made Absolute Heating and Cooling their one-stop shop for service needs. Locally owned and operated with over 20 years of experience in the trade. Visit their website at absolutephc.com for complete service information. Absolute Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the area's top York brand dealer.
And as we promised, Andy Dorrell, head coach at Culver Academy, joins us here. And I know that you're always fond of telling us it's a great day to be an Eagle, but it's got to feel even more that way now.
Yeah, I'm really excited last night. Our defense played fantastic. We forced 5 turnovers, and really our offense put our defense in a tough position at times, but they rose to the challenge every opportunity they had. And I'm really proud of the way the boys rallied to support each other. It was a great team win last night.
And I know we've talked in the past couple of weeks how that defense has been an issue, especially on the front. I mean, how do you think they grew last night?
I thought we tackled much better last night. We really forced the issue and made Kankakee Valley uncomfortable, and again forced them into some bad plays. We forced some turnovers deep in our territory that kept them out of the end zone all night, and just really felt like the guys executed our defensive game plan the best they had all year.
I was going to say turnovers is such a big part of that defensive game plan and have been over the years for you guys, and seeing that number has to really be a good sign for you.
Yeah, no doubt. We had 4 interceptions and a fumble, and we blocked punt for a touchdown. So really opportunistic on defense, but made the plays that we needed to. And I think that was the biggest difference last night is this season we've had some opportunities to make plays, and we just weren't able to finish. And last night that we did, and really proud of the guys.
You feel like some young guys now finally, it's starting to click. This is the moment where things are starting to work in their head. And after, once again, Friday night speed is different. And, there is a development over the course of the year. You feel you're moving that way?
Yeah, no doubt. Our defensive line played much better last night. We had a new starter at inside linebacker, Jalen Harris, and we had 3 tackles, an assist, and 2 sacks, and really did a nice job for us stepping in for an injured player. But just overall, I felt our defensive line played one of their best games this season. That really made the difference.
Talk about your offense a little bit. You're able to put 14 on the board. How do you feel about them?
Well, we only put 7 on the board, actually.
Oh, really?
It was, we blocked a punt for a touchdown, so I'm not going to give the offense credit for that one. We had a 54-yard run from Ainsley Ritchie. He continues to be a big playmaker for us, and just really couldn't get any rhythm. Untimely penalties and just missed assignments made it really difficult for us to move the ball. A lot of credit to Kankakee Valley and how aggressive they were up front, and it's always been a physical game with them the last couple of years, and it was last night, and just really struggled to get any type of momentum or rhythm on offense, and fortunately our defense stepped up and made some big plays for us to put us in an opportunity to win.
You mentioned this week too that the way they play, they like to control the tempo of the game, and that had to be a part of it too.
Yeah, it really was. They were 0 for 4 on 4th downs, and again forcing 4 interceptions and a fumble deep in our territory proved huge. And when they weren't able to punch in the end zone a couple of times early, it really I think deflated them. And we came out in the second half and got a good stop to start the third quarter, and then just started eating clock and managing the game in a way we felt was a little more just safe for us to get to run the clock out. A little more conservative is the word I was looking for there.
How do you feel about where you're at now? I mean, it seems like the last couple of weeks you've really been able to put some things together. Defense one week, offense the other week. I mean, how do you feel about where you're moving?
Yeah, I mean, at this time of year, you want to start to build momentum for the playoffs, and not looking ahead at all. But we got 3 really tough games ahead, and I saw Bremen had a big win last night, so they're going to be looking for that same thing we are, just trying to establish some consistency and some momentum building in the playoffs, and we're going to their place, and So it's going to be a tough matchup for us, but looking forward to continuing to have these young guys grow and improve and play together. And I really felt they had each other's back last night, and we're working hard for each other. Enjoyed playing football together.
Well, you mentioned the next three are going to be tough. You got two of those on the road too. One at Guerin Catholic after Bremen, but let's look at Bremen a little bit coming up this week. They are on a roll. They're a Bremen team, man. They're going to smash them off. And so, what do you see when you look at them? Probably pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I saw very little film so far, but it looks like they're so unbalanced and they want to run the football. And that's Coach Begonia's kind of MO when he was back at John Glenn. We played against him. And they're going to try to control the ball and keep you off the field. And it's a great defense when your offense has the ball. So it's going to be important for us to get those big stops and get them off the field like we did last night. And it's going to be more of the same. I mean, this is what I love about high school football is every week's just different enough to keep it interesting, but you also still have to focus on the fundamentals in order to be successful. And it's going to be one of those games that we need to be very fundamentally sound tomorrow.
Talk a little bit about your coaching points this week. What are the things you really want to get better at?
We can still tackle a little better. We got to finish on tackle, a bit more aggressive up front, the offensive line. Still a lot of sled work, and you and I have talked about that before. Of getting guys to understand how to fire off and stay low and pursue the football, and 11 men to the ball on defense, and offensively just looking to execute better than we did last night. And we have to be able to run the football to be successful. We have some talented backs that can do some good things with the ball in open space, but we got to get them going. So really about understanding us blocking assignments up front, securing those assignments, locking it in, and getting off the football and playing CMA Eagle football.
Well, man, I'll tell you what, that's our game of the week next week. We'll be over there at Bremen with you and them, and so I'm sure we'll run into each other at some point during the week.
Fantastic. Take care. Appreciate it, Rusty. Thank you.
Andy Dorrell, the head coach at Culver Academy, and stay right there. We'll be right back.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little portion. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Joining us now is the head coach of the Culver Cavaliers. I told you we were going to have a good conversation this week. Austin Faust joins me. Good win last night for you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Rusty. It was a big win for our kids to go on the road against Caston, who's a real good ball club with what they do offensively, and then it was their homecoming, so it was a big night for them, and it was nice for our kids to kind of play the spoilers and ruin their homecoming.
I was going to say, going on the road too. I mean, a young team, that's usually one of the harder things to do is get a win on the road, and you got it, and that's got to feel good.
Yeah, it does. It was anytime you go on the road, and then Caston's redoing their locker room, so things are kind of, we were in a different spot, and we were in an elementary gym, and we couldn't put our cleats on until we walked out of the gym, until we got into the hallway on the carpet, and then this gate's not supposed to be locked, but when we go back in, it is locked, but then at halftime, you got to go here, you can't go back in, so just a lot of different things, when you're doing stuff, and when you're dealing with 14, 18-year-old kids, you're like, man, this is not routine, so you just wonder what's going to happen kind of thing. But, credits our kids. We came out, right from the get-go and took the opening kickoff. I think we had about a 8-9 minute drive and threw a touchdown pass on a 4th down. Jonas threw it to his brother, Caleb. and just kind of threw it up in the back corner of the end zone, and Caleb came down with a heck of a catch. And we were 6-0 for most of the first half, and then Caston executed a flawless trick play. They ran their counter crisscross flea flicker, which the sad part is we try to run it in practice, and we don't do it anywhere close as good as what they did. It was one of those things where, I'm going to tell our quarterback, Jonas, like, hey, this is what we were wanting it to look like when we talked about it in practice. But, credit to them. They executed it and went up 7-6. And, we were down 7-6 at halftime. And then we came out, onside kicked, recovered that, took a nice drive down, didn't score, kind of got a holding penalty inside the red zone that hurt us. But that really kind of dictated field position. We were able to kind of have really good field position, dominated. I felt like the second half, we just couldn't put points on the board. And then right at the end of the third going into the fourth, John Carr ripped off a big run to put us at the 1 yard line. And Jonas McEwen was able to run a little quarterback ISO and put it in. And we had 12-7 lead. And then, our defense was able to keep them off the board to win us the game.
Talk about your defense a little bit, but that's the one spot, especially your front, that I feel like you got some special guys there, and they obviously showed it last night.
Yeah, for 2 games in a row, our defense has really came to play, and especially like you said, that D line spots. Theron Carrington and Isaiah Vela, the seniors, along with Skylar Greer as well, I thought did a really good job last night. And then Colton Falk is a freshman, still in there battling and making plays and, kind of growing up, before our eyes still too with what he's, been doing as a freshman. And then we kind of had, we had some other guys, some JV guys that got some good quarters, for us with Zane Whitfield, Isaiah Milam, Keneal, Antisami, and Philip Gregory. That kind of was that extra fifth guy kind of thing that, was able to spell some guys up front. And then, the one big thing too that they've been able to do is they've been able to keep Drake Zorich clean. Guys haven't been getting in Drake's lap, and Drake's been able to scrape. And I thought Drake just continues to just kind of build on the really good season he's having. He made a lot of plays for us last night. And one thing that makes Caston really tough is their wing T. Coach Rolick over there does a really good job of, okay, if you're lined up in this, you're giving us this, so we're going to run this. So then you make an adjustment, and then it's like, okay, well, now that you took away that, you gave us this, so we're going to run this. So it was a chess match within the game, which makes it fun, from a coaching standpoint, and credit to our kids. They were able to make adjustments and then, just make plays, use their hands, get off blocks and make tackles and things that we hadn't been doing earlier in the season. We're starting to see, us doing that now, which is a huge positive as we come into the end part of our season.
How about on the offensive side of the ball? I know you got a lot of young guys on that front line that you're really proud of. How has their development been? They take another step last night?
Yeah, I think we got better. I think we got better up front. We were able to run the ball a little bit better. We ran Jonas McEwen quite a bit from the quarterback position. That was just another thing that the defense has to account for. They kind of just manned everybody up, so we were they're giving us numbers in the box, and I thought for the most part we were able to get those 3-4 yard kind of chunks. I thought John Carr is a sophomore. I thought maybe he didn't have his best first half, but second half wise, I thought he ran really hard for us, and was able to, to give us some tough yards too as well, especially kind of in that fourth quarter when you're just trying to keep the clock moving and grind it out, especially towards the end of the game where you want them to use their timeouts. I thought John had some really nice runs for us. It's just going to be the next step is just that consistency, where it's like, all right, we do it this play, we're able to block, all right, now we got to do it this play. And then just things that we got to continue to grow. But, I think this is a big win for us to kind of help, keep guys going in the right direction. I don't think we were, in a bad spot, but just, again, when you're dealing with 14, 18-year-old kids, it's hard for them to see the big picture. So when you can get a W, you know, it's good for everybody. And, you know, the kids still start, you know, really seeing, okay, you know, this is what we're capable of. And again, against Judson, you know, top 5 team last week, our defense played really well. But then when you look on the scoreboard, you know, it's tough to see that result. So,
Right.
you know, it's just huge for our guys to, you know, to see it on the scoreboard, and then obviously, you know, feel it within the game, just, you know, how well we were able to kind of honestly, you know, dominate Caston for good parts of the game defensively.
You know, this is interesting. This is the second week in a row we've talked about Jonas McCune, but not as throwing the football, but as a runner. He's obviously added that dimension to his game.
Yeah, he has. You know, that's something we always kind of thought you know, he's had, and, you know, we've kind of in practice given him a hard time about it. You know, take it off and running at the quarterback. And, you know, as a senior, you can tell just the plays that he's making. You know, some of them too aren't even designed. You know, he's dropping back in the pocket, and, you know, they're playing man and the pocket kind of collapses. And last night, you know, a couple times he stepped up and, you know, got a first down for us. And just having that kind of that savvy that he's able to do. And, you know, we moved some guys around. We put Caleb McEwen as well in the backfield too, just try to get him the ball a little bit more. So, you know, we're liking, you know, what we're kind of doing skill wise. We're bringing guys along too as well. You know, Braylon Jackson and Jordan Green and Scotty Banks, I think are, you know, they're coming along for us too. Where hopefully, again, we could just be, you know, hitting on all cylinders come week 10.
You know, that is an interesting thing, because Caleb is another guy that you want to have the ball in his hands. I imagine as you go on, you're going to come up with other ways to get that in his hands.
Yeah, you know, he's you know, he's a kid that we move around quite a bit, and we do run him on certain things. And, you know, it was one of those where it's like, okay, well, there's sometimes too we just want to give him the ball, so let's just put him in the running back, you know. And
Yeah.
and he's a smart enough kid, and if he's not sure about it, you know, I know for sure his brother's going to tell him what exactly to do. Um, Standing next to him, kind of thing. So, you know, that's things we'll just kind of continue to build on. We're just moving guys around. The nice thing too, you know, John Carr is a kid that, you know, he can catch the ball too. So we can put him out in that slot position, kind of receiver position. And, you know, that makes it a lot easier for us offensively, where we don't have to sub guys in, and the defense can, you know, okay, this guy's in, so this guy's here, this guy's going to be here, where, you know, allows us to be a lot more multiple on the fly that can, you know, hopefully put defense in conflicts and things like that.
Well, your reward for playing so well is you get to take on Pioneer. The good news is you get to do it at home, but, you know, that once again, and then North Miami after that. You got a killer couple of games coming up.
Yeah, we do. You know, like we kind of talked about at the beginning of the season. You know, I still think, you know, the HNAC top to bottom is one of the best conferences, you know, in the state. So there's really no week you're excited to get to, where you think like, okay, this might be a chance where we can get our JV kids in, or, you know, that's not going to happen in this conference. You know, we got a lot of good teams and a lot of good coaches, and, you know, Pioneer's a team that, you know, one loss in their schedule, and it's to Knox. And, you know, everybody I think knows again what Knox is doing to teams. And, you know, it was like 6-0, I think, at halftime, Knox and Pioneer. So Pioneer's undefeated in our conference. So is Judson. So I think everybody's kind of looking forward to that, you know, to that matchup. I think that might be a week 9 matchup, week 8 matchup, something along those lines. So hopefully they're kind of looking a little bit ahead to that.
Yeah.
You know, we can continue to put a good week of practice and keep improving, and, you know, we get to play them at home, and hopefully, you know, kind of shock the state. I think our kids are, you know, excited for it. Obviously, we're going to have to, you know, stop the Rands kid at quarterback. You know, when you're reading newspaper clippings and headlines, and it's talking about, you know, the Pioneer quarterback breaks Jack Kaiser's rushing record.
Oh boy.
Single game rushing record. You know, you know that there's that's going to be, you know, that's quite a feat, and it's going to be a big challenge. And, you know, he's like, you know, what, a 3-year starter, 4-year starter for them at quarterback. So, he knows the system really well, and we're going to have to continue to play like we have defensively, and hopefully keep improving offensively and see what happens on Friday.
Yeah, Kaiser did okay for himself, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he's probably pretty happy where he's at right now.
Well, let's talk about where you're at right now. I mean, obviously there are things you want to get better at this week, whether it's part of the game plan or not. I mean, what are the things that you're going to spend time with this week?
Yeah, I think offensively, again, just with our offensive line, just continue on getting that consistency, kind of blocking through the echo of the whistle kind of thing. Not just assuming, that we're through the line already. So just sustaining our blocks a little bit longer. Continue just kind of working some things in our past games, tweaking some stuff to, try to get some guys open. And then, defensively, just continue building off what we have. Our D line, like we talked about earlier, has played really well these last 2 games, and continuing to able to do that. And then secondary wise, just making sure our reads are clean. One of the things that the wing tee does and Pioneer is going to do is there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, mixed directions, and you come up and bite on something. Next, there's a tight end or running behind you. So those are the big things that we just gotta continue kind of cleaning up, and I think we got better at the secondary spot at, not finding the ball, but reading our keys, because that'll take you to the ball. But again, just continuing on building those. That's where we, that's where we want to be. And again, we like where we're at. This is just obviously a huge one for our kids to get, because last year, I don't know how many times you and I talked about, we're close. We're close. We got to be able to win the close ones. And, we were finally able to get over that that hump, so to speak, where, we did the things necessary, or, didn't shoot ourselves in the foot in a close ball game to come away with winners. So, even Coach Zahner said it walking off the field, like, man, these are the wins that, just make you tougher as a team.
Yeah.
And those are things that, I think is going to help us go a long way, for the rest of the season, and even with our younger guys, for the future.
In a certain way, that's kind of what they mean by learning how to win, don't you think? Is that win like that where maybe you didn't play your best, but you still got off with that W?
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. That's kind of those things where I thought, last year we didn't know how to win yet, and we weren't doing the things that we needed to win a ball game. Last night, I thought we, for the most part, we're doing those things. It was a close ball game. It was a rock fight, so to speak. Both defenses were doing some really good things, and there was some, kids were flying around. There were some big hits, I felt like, both sides of the ball, and we didn't turn the ball over. Defensively, we just kept battling. If we gave up a big play, we came right back and usually, made a stop. And, those are the things that you got to do in close ball games. So, hopefully we can, keep learning from this and, take it into the end of the season and then into the playoffs.
Well, congratulations on the win, man. It's a good one for you. And we'll talk again next week.
Yep. Thanks, Rusty. We appreciate it.
Austin Faust, the head coach for the Culver Cavaliers. We'll take a break. We'll be back with Adam Handley.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank, we don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927. Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour with potential at $25 an hour within a year. quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day one. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
Back again here, Saturday Morning Coaches Show, and Adam Handley, head football coach at Plymouth High School, joins me. A game we had last night. Not the way you would have scripted it, but there was a lot of things about that game last night that were just, I don't know, it's just one of those strange games.
Yeah, I mean, you take away a couple plays. I mean, it's a one-score game at least, and maybe even, tighter than that. You never know. I mean, to start the game, we moved the ball a couple first downs, and, we just have a couple mis-executed blocks on the first drive, and we go to punt the ball. We're like, okay. We moved the ball a little bit, took a little bit of time off, go to punt the ball, and then we sail one down to the 1 yard line. And that it's tough for your defense to go against an offense like Flexbone and then stop them from a 1 yard gain in 4 plays, right? I mean, so chalk that one up as it is, and then the next drive we're moving the ball again. We even get, I'm pretty sure, past midfield, and then a bad snap again. It puts us in 4th and long, and we punt them down to the 5 yard line. And we're like, okay, at least they got to go 95 yards to earn it, and they do. They go down 95 yards, and it's 14-0. And even that, like, we weren't out of it by any means. Our next drive, we move the ball again, and we have a touchdown, wide open guy ready for a touchdown, just mis-executed. And just so, like, again, 3 or 4 plays in that first half, it's a tie ball game, or it's a 14-21 or 7-14 game at halftime. And then even the second half, we come down and, we score to make it 21-7. They come back and score 28-7, and then it's 28-14 with, I think it was like 11 minutes or 9 minutes left in the game. And we're down 14, and after how bad we played in the first half, to be down 14 at that point, we're like, okay, we just need to stop. We just need to stop. And we almost do. We almost get a stop. With about 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, it's 3rd and 27 there, or 2nd and 27. And, again, just one or two plays here goes our way. I think it's a different outcome. And we talked about last year's game, right? They fumbled the ball 3 times against us, and we score on all 3 of those drives. And that was the difference of the game last year. And our turnovers on our side, and just missed executions were what hurt us, what bit us.
And the funny thing to me is that I think the big one was taking a touchdown off the board on the penalty at the end of the first half. That was the one that you could just feel that was going to.
That was the 4th drive,
yeah.
That was the 4th or 5th drive of the half too. Like the drive before, we had a chance to get a touchdown, and then that drive we got the ball. I think we either get a stop. I think they went for it on 4th down. We get a stop at midfield. We still had some timeouts, and we had about 55 seconds. And we're like, we can go score to, again, at that point it was 21-0 and still was, but we're like, all right, at least let's cut into this deficit, right? We hadn't played a good first half at all. Ben throws a great ball on a touchdown, and we got back from a holding. So just some bad inopportune penalties and just snaps and things like that just didn't go our way.
And even that said, and as well as I do, watching teams like this play over the years, a 2-score deficit can seem like 100. The way
Sure.
they're going to, like they proved that in the 4th quarter. They get the ball with 9 minutes left. By the time you get it back, it's 4.
Yeah, I think like I said, it was 28-14, and I don't think we saw. Now we had a turnover on special teams, but we didn't see the ball again until 2 seconds left in the game.
Exactly.
So 11 minutes, we're talking in here about it. So, 28-14, 11 minutes left in the game, and we didn't see the ball. Obviously we had a possession that we should have had with about 3 minutes left or so, down 35-14. And the final score looks ugly because, again, they score right with like 3 minutes left, and then we turn the ball over on the ensuing kick return, and they score again to go 42-14. So, I mean, it is what it is. But, like I said, 11-minute mark, it was 28-14.
And even at that, the thing that to me, it just felt like they were never comfortable. Even with a 2-3 score lead, they just didn't You know what I'm saying? There was a feel of urgency about them that you only get when somebody is concerned.
Yeah, no doubt. I think, and that's like I said, I think that's where we are. I feel like we finally are relevant back in this conference where teams aren't just going to show up, throw the JV team out and get a win anymore, which is great. But we also didn't show up ready to play either. I mean,
Right.
if we're having mental mistakes on punts and mental mistakes on center quarterback exchanges that we've been doing since the summertime, like we're not mentally prepared either. And you can't, especially in this conference and especially who we play the next couple of weeks, like you can't just go in halfway. Like you got to be all in from 7:00 kickoff. Otherwise it's going to turn out like that.
Well, and you're 100% right there. I'd said it earlier in the week. I would put you guys, starting with last night, your 4-game string here, against anybody in the state. That's got to be
no doubt
the toughest
Yeah, no doubt.
schedule to end a season in the state.
And like I said, it is what it is, right? We've taken care of the conference teams that I feel like we are better than, and we beat those teams. And now from here on out, we're probably I would consider us the underdogs in every game left, which is fine. Like I love that feeling, right? But the mentality still got to be, just because you're quote underdog, you still got a chance to play, And I don't think that they were 28 points better than us by any means last night, but we had the mental lapses that allowed them to make us look like that.
And I got to say, the thing about it is these are the teams you're going to have to beat if you want to win a conference championship anyway.
Absolutely.
So it's not like
Absolutely.
it's not like they're just going to disappear from the schedule.
Nope.
You're going to have
Nope.
to play them. But the problem is, I think, lies in your lap, because you got to keep your guys focused and say, hey,
Sure.
that one's over. Now we got another challenge this week.
That's almost exactly where we said at the end of the game. We said, if you guys want to be relevant in this conference, you guys got to take each week at a time. And you got to compete every week. There's not a single team in this conference that's just going to say, here, take it. You can have the conference title. Like there's a bunch of teams that want it, and ultimately, and we said it last night too, the best thing about a Saturday morning is you get to wake up, you get to wash Friday night away. Obviously we're going to get in and we're going to look at the film and improve on some things, but it's a new opponent and it starts today. We're going to start figuring out how to improve on some things and get things fixed for Northwood. But we got stats back if you want to talk a little stats or whatever you want to do.
Well, the one thing I want to talk about is you're going to see this offense again.
Yeah.
And last night we just never really stopped them. I mean, slowed them down at times, but never really stopped that offense.
We got them. Yeah, we got them behind the sticks a couple times on a couple penalties. And that's what hurts them when they're in 1st and 15 or 2nd and 15 or even 2nd and 10. That's behind the sticks for them, right? And we got them to that point. We had a couple turnovers on 4th down. We made them punt the ball. So I think that those are wins. They're small wins, but they're wins. I mean, again, 42 points. One drive was a 1-yard drive. Second half drive, they took one of the last drives. It took went 20 yards after a special teams turnover. So that's 14 right there. I mean, the 95-yard drive hurt. I mean, obviously we made them earn it. It wasn't any big plays where they chunked us for 60 or something like that. But that's what I mean. They're gonna go 95 yards and try and chew up as much clock as they can.
And it's funny. I think we were talking. I think it was a little third quarter. First 3 scores, they scored on big plays. It wasn't like they were, broke one from a run or whatever. I mean, they just threw a swing pass to that tight end drag over the middle. I mean, just little things that.
Well, and
they caught.
That's where they get you, right? They run the ball 18 times in a row, and then you fall asleep, and then they throw you one over the top, and that's just again, 15, 16-year-old kids watching the eye candy, watching the toss motion, watching this, watching that, and they forget their read, and their tight end's the guy running wide open, and that's, again, why he runs that offense. It's dangerous when it's run productively, and, they got us last night on a couple.
I was going to say, sometime when they come to town, I'm going to just make a tally mark every time they run that fullback dive in the same exact spot over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's just like you say, Joe said it the best. They just lull you to sleep, and all of a sudden, boom, there goes somebody.
Yep, that's exactly the plan. No doubt.
Well, let's talk about some good things. I thought Ben threw the ball pretty well. Really had a nice night.
Yeah, we knew we were going to get some little heavier boxes. We were going to have to throw the ball, some bubble screens and some things like that. We just got to find a way to sustain some blocks outside. We struggled a little bit blocking at wide out, and I think as well we also didn't, when we got the ball out in space, we didn't really make anyone miss either, right? And I think that's just an opportunity that we make one guy miss. If you watch any of the film, we make one guy miss, it turns from a 3-yard gain to a 13-yard gain.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody else. There's nobody else over there, right? If you're going to get loaded boxes and things like that, we got to take advantage of some bubble screens and some things like that. And then on a couple of the short ones, Ben threw a decent ball. Or a little hitch or slant routes and things like that. He threw okay. And two deep balls. One of them we caught and had brought back from a penalty, and then the second one just kind of got spun around. But yeah, he's our offense isn't Ben chucking the ball deep. I mean, you haven't watched us all recently, but that's not who we are. That's not our identity. And our identity is running the ball really well and then opening up something like that for a shot later on. And we got down early and we had to take some chances. Obviously, you never want to have, 2 interceptions in a game. One of them was true interception. One of them we took a shot on 4th down and they intercepted it in the end zone. So it is what it is at that point. But overall, yeah.
You hit the nail on the head too. A couple of those passes out there to Fernando. If he can make that guy miss, or you get him blocked a little better, there's nobody between him and the end zone.
Yeah, that's exactly what we watched again. We watched a little bit last night. We'll watch again today. It's one guy. We make one guy miss. It's 1-on-1 in space. I think, like I said, it's a difference between a 3-yard gain and a 13-yard gain. So.
Talk about something else I thought was a success too. You were able to run the ball, not probably as consistently as you wanted to, but especially in the second half, you were able to run the football.
Well, and that's the frustrating part, is because we didn't change anything offensively in the second half. They didn't change anything defensively in the second half, and we scored 2 times, right? So that just shows where we should have had scores in the first half. We had, like I said, a couple of missed blocks, a couple of bad snaps, and we're behind the sticks too far away to run our stuff, and that's what happens. So, we almost rushed for 200 yards. Ben had 97 and Finn had 86. So, we're right there where close to where we've been. Obviously, we've been over 200 each the last couple of weeks, but it is what it is.
Well, let's talk about, you're going to bring him in today and look at film. What are the things you saw that you really got to get better at?
Obviously quarterback center exchange just needs to be, we can't have that, so whatever the mistakes were made last night, we just got to get those fixed. And, again, I think we blocked up front well, not great, but well. So we'll talk about why we missed some of the blocks we did up front. And then we already talked about some of our receiver blocking and receivers catching in space. We just need to continue to improve on that, because again, everybody knows we like to run the ball right now. It's what we're doing. It's what we're doing well. So we're going to get some heavy boxes, and we've got to take some chances outside and make a couple guys miss here or there.
I know you probably haven't had a ton of time to look at Northwood, but they're, once again, you know what they're going to do. They're going to find the best athlete on offense, and they're just going to snap it.
Yeah.
He's going to get the ball on every play. So that's what's coming. But, everybody has respect for Nate Andrews for a good reason. He prepares extremely well. His teams are ready to go.
Sure.
And it's their homecoming. So.
Oh, shocking. It is their homecoming. What do you know?
So I think it is.
Well, that's number 4 for us this year. 3 on the road and 1 at home. Fantastic. Good stuff. Good stuff. What we've seen from Northwood already is like I said, the Nate Andrews show, no doubt. It is what it is. He's going to find a way to get his athletes the football, and they've got some young guys. They got a young kid at quarterback right now. I don't know what rumor has it. Their starters should be back this week, but it is what it is, and we'll play whoever there. But they're similar to us. They like to spread you out a little bit and run the ball, and then, like I said, they'll take their shot with their deep threat guys and things like that. So it's nothing different for our defense. They've seen this version of offense, all summer when we're going against ourselves. And so it won't be anything new. Again, when you get against these flexible teams and things like that, it's just different for your defense because they don't see it ever, right, until they see it live. And you try to simulate the best you can in practice, right? But when you don't run that offense, you can't simulate it even somewhat close to what it should be, in a in a game or a practice like situation. So that's what we know from them. And again, if it's their homecoming, it'll be a big spectacle, and they'll have horse and buggies out and everything you go. It'll be a good time.
I could be wrong, but that's what I was told last night, was that's also their homecoming. So,
well, let's have a good time then.
Yeah, there you go. Well, man, good luck to you. I will see you in October 10th when you got Mishawaka coming to town. So, get that win
Sounds
and
good.
come back home.
Sounds good, Rusty. Appreciate you.
That is Adam Handley, and stay there. We'll be right back with more.
Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour, with potential at $25 an hour within a year. Quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day one. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
And we're back, Saturday Morning Coaches Show here on Max 98.3. If you missed the scores, let's run them down real quick here for you. It was Culver over Caston by a final of 12-7. Bremen took an exciting win from Glenn last night, 15-14 the score there. Knox over LaVille, 62-16. It was Warsaw over Plymouth, 42-14. North Judson, a 10-7 winner over Triton. CMA defeated Kankakee Valley by a final of 14-3. That's a rundown. And coming up here in just a moment, we'll have Plymouth AD Josh Troyer talking about some of the other things going on at Plymouth High School here in the fall. So don't go anywhere.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
MCF got its start in 2018 with one goal: bring fast, reliable fiber internet to Marshall County. Today, we offer lightning fast speeds, equal upload and download with no contracts and no install fees. Whether you're working from home or streaming all night, Marshall County Fiber keeps you connected. We might be the new kid on the block, but we're growing fast, just like our internet. Visit marshallfiber.com or call 574-223-2191. MCF, making rural connections possible.
And Josh Troyer, the athletic director of Plymouth, joins us. Spend a little time talking about other things going on other than just football over at the school. And honestly, man, some of this stuff is starting to wind down. I know the sport you've been coaching is, they're finished. I saw the notice for your banquet coming up here.
Yeah, it was a good season, but man, it flies. Girls golf is always so fast. So, hate to see it end for the girls, but at the same point, my life is starting to get where I can try to get kind of caught up with stuff that wasn't able to do as much of over the last, month and a half. So, there's bittersweet pieces of that, and also some good things to allow me to kind of get back to the other part of my job.
I know you had, towards the end of the year, you're getting some consistent performances. I mean, it was one of those years of improvement for that team, wasn't it?
Yeah, super proud of them. I mean, we had some optional days, and the girls still showed up. I mean, they wanted to put the work in. They wanted to be, the best they could be, and was super proud of them. They all saw kind of improvement throughout the year with the work they were putting in. And, unfortunately, Stonehenge is a really tough course, and they kind of all had little, blimps in the road that, ended up, our closest was 5 strokes for making it out, which is still, I mean, when you think about a round of golf, 5 strokes is not a lot.
No.
And we were right there. Just, that's the tough thing about golf too, is, you don't really have a target number you're trying to get to at the end of the day. You're just trying to shoot the best you can and then kind of see where that shakes out. And, unfortunately for our girls, it just wasn't enough, but really all 5 of them got better throughout the year, put a ton of work in, and was super proud of that for sure.
I'm going to assume that you would be open to having a new head coach next year. I know you've got a lot of experience doing that, but your job is intricate enough as it is without having to weave a sports season into it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I kudos to whatever ADs do that still. There's tons of things I'd still like to accomplish as an AD that makes it a lot harder when you're coaching a full season too. So yeah, hopefully that's not necessarily what I want to do again next year. I really enjoy it. It's different, connection with athletes when you're coaching compared to being the AD. So that part was fun and, always enjoyable, but at the same point, getting to where I can focus a full year on just the athletic department and the things that we want to accomplish and try to create some new experiences for our athletes is obviously something I would definitely want to continue to do for sure.
It is interesting you mentioned that connection aspect of it too, because I know that was the one thing my dad always wanted to, whenever there was a chance to sub-teach in one of the classrooms, he took it because he missed that connection when he was in the office all the time. And I think that's probably the tough thing you guys have to balance is, that personal connection with, the other stuff you got to get done.
Yeah, it's so much easier, right? When you're there every day with them and your 2-hour practice, you have bus rides, you have events, and you're connecting on just a different level than as an AD where you're not directly involved in the huddles. You're not directly involved in, the practices and events. I feel like, they talk about it, right? Every step you go up the ladder in leadership, right? You're further removed from the students, right? And that's kind of where it goes. I communicate a lot more with our coaches and our assistant coaches and sponsors and those kind of things. My day-to-day connection is just not as much with the athletes. It's one reason why I do like doing our student leadership group and those kind of things, still to have some of that, but it's just not the regular day-to-day that you get as a coach with athletes every day of the week.
Let's talk about another one of your programs. It's kind of winding down a little bit. The NLC in tennis was this week, and once again, it's another one of those fall teams. Our tennis program has been one of the best ever, forever. But every now and then, you got those years where you got young guys getting some experience, and this was kind of one of those years for them, just getting some guys out on the court and getting them better.
Yeah, I was super excited. I got to go watch them on Tuesday, the first night. Now, we drew the number 2 seed, and I think every bracket. So clearly wasn't set up for a night of huge success, right? Going in when you're facing the ranked opponent, you're not the ranked opponent. But it was super proud just to see, their work, see what they've been putting in. We've got a lot of young athletes in that program that I think will only be better, right? Because of those kind of experiences. The hardest piece of all that I always think with young athletes is, realizing that, you have years ahead of you, right? Like, and using it as that thing of like, okay, where do I still need to get better so I can be that, that seeded opponent in the NLC and not be, the unseeded opponent having to face them too. So I think we learned a lot of lessons. They're putting a ton of work in. Coach Heck is very detailed in his practice. I love going out there and seeing, they're working all the different serve techniques and those kind of things. And I played 1 year of tennis, so I'm definitely no tennis star by any means, but it's interesting just to hear all the details that he's talking through them with. To continue, again, to try to be a little bit better the next day. And, the biggest thing with any of those sports, right, is you got to put a lot of time in to be good. It's crazy, right? Like the amount of time you see a lot of those athletes go into the indoor tennis clubs in the winter and those kind of things. Yeah. Like it's not easy by any means. And, I look forward to seeing kind of our young athletes continue to commit to being better at that sport and, challenging for those NLC titles in the coming years for sure.
I think there's so many things that are involved with that sport as opposed to others. I mean, you mentioned ranked opponents. There's foreign exchange students that come in who played overseas for years and now they're the number 1 guy at Goshen or whatever. Then you got guys that do nothing but tennis all year. Well, we kind of basically we get the athletes, the gym rats. I mean, I know Barry and Beth used to talk about it all the time. We exist because we get guys that just they want to compete at something, and that becomes an issue. And especially you add the schedule in. Plymouth never backs away from playing as tough a schedule as they can. So you got a lot of things going on there.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I mean, even our sectional with Academy in there every year, they're a historically tough program, right? So you've got to build against that because athletes see at the end of the day, right? Like there's a hurdle that they have to overcome, a pretty big hurdle, right? If they want to make it past the sectional level, right? So seeing that, I love the fact that like really all of our best tennis players, if you look back over the last, 5 years plus, even before I got here, were multi-sport athletes, if not three-sport athletes. And I think that speaks testament to our athletes, also our coaches, to be flexible enough to say, hey, whatever time you can give me, let's put this in and use our athleticism and try to be pretty good because, tennis is not something you can play a couple times a year and be competitive in our conference with our schedule and our sectional. You gotta find as much time as you can to try to put into it and see where that leaves you.
Talk about volleyball a little bit too. New coach, hardly new to anybody here in Plymouth. She and her family are kind of synonymous with volleyball in the city of Plymouth. But it's been one of those years where they've had some really great runs and then some other times where you shook your head a little bit. I mean, and once again, another program's got a lot of young people adjusting to a new coach. And it seems like recently they've really started to string together some good work.
Yeah, I mean, finished second at our invitational, which is at least in my time period, is way better than we've ever finished in our own invite. Yeah. And our invite's tough. Don't get me wrong. Second in the Concord invite this year. We took a set against Warsaw at their place, which was the first set we won, I think, since like 2018-ish range. So we've done some good things, right? It's building. And super excited with them. I think they put a ton of work into. You see them in the gym every day, working very hard. I think our coaching staff has put a ton of time in and worked well together. And you can see that with our girls that they're definitely becoming, again, more and more competitive. It's what you want to see, right? That you're building towards that sectional. And it's one that I'm excited to really see them compete at the sectional level and kind of see where that goes here at the end of the year.
And you throw in the schedule again with them. I mean, how many ranked opponents have they played in the last 2 weeks? 3 or 4 at least. So, you're looking at some of the best teams in at least Northern Indiana that are on your schedule every year.
Yeah, and it's such a tough schedule too because you have those weekend tournaments. You're not really sure who you're going to play each week, and then you get those weeks. We have a couple weeks in there where it's 4 or 5 games in a week. It's a grueling schedule to an extent, but volleyball plays a lot of games in a very short window. And our girls, I think, have handled that really well and clearly are showing, that they're trending in the right direction at the right time.
Cross-country runners have had a solid year, too. I mean, once again, a lot of young guys, but some really solid runners that have carried those teams and kept them going. That's a weird season, too. They only run on the weekends now, right, or something like that?
Yeah, pretty close to it. You have those weekday ones, but it's really hard when you're putting in all that effort for a Saturday invitational. That's pretty big, and the amount of mileage, as you know, right? Yeah. Like I always love when they come in and say, "I only ran 3 miles today." I'm like, "Only." Not with the word I would have used.
I couldn't drive 3 miles.
Correct. And they're like, "I was only 3 miles today." I'm like, "Bless you guys. I appreciate the fact that that's what you think." But yeah, I mean, we have some really talented upperclassmen that I think are really showing the ropes to our younger kids. And we also have some really good young performances too, which is nice to have within a program, right? You see some of that, top tier successes from some of our, kind of older runners, but at the same point, you're starting to see those younger kids really starting to put in some times that show that they could have some really big success and big impact on our program here over the next couple of years too.
Schedules kind of become a theme of this talk. I think we'll talk a little bit about football now, and you're going into a string of 4 games here. I would put those 4 games in a row against any 4 games in a row on any schedule in the state and feel pretty good. That was the toughest run.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. And, that's the thing you get now with this conference rotation that we have. That once one game kind of cycles through to the end of your schedule or closer to the end of your schedule, it's just kind of how it works out. And definitely was the easier part, right, of our conference schedule so far. if you look at, their strength of schedule, their Sagarin ratings, all of those things. But I would say Wawasee played, super hard with it being their homecoming. Their quarterback had shifted back to their old one, who I thought looked, really dynamic and explosive last week. Northridge was a big win for us on the road to kind of get all that run started. And then now it's, you've had some chances to win. I think winning close games against Ridge and Wawasee hopefully will benefit us too, because you're not going to walk into a Warsaw, a Northwood, a Mishawaka, a Concord and win by 40, right? Like it's no matter how good your team is. I mean, we could be one of the best teams in the state and you're still not beating one of those programs probably by 40.
No.
So you're going to have to win a close game, right? And we saw that last year come to fruition against Warsaw too. Like, you've got to be able to bounce back. You got to be able to answer. And I think our team has had to do those things over the last couple of weeks, which hopefully is a good preparation. Obviously, stronger opponents coming forward, but they've definitely been tested. I'm looking forward to seeing how our guys just kind of respond. Homecoming for us, obviously this week, and building into that the toughest part of our schedule to see how we compete against, what everyone would say is the top part of the conference and proving that we belong there.
You got Concord at the end of the year. Talk about that just a little bit. I know we'll be back over there for the Mishawaka game, but that's going to be at Lucas Oil, and that's got to be exciting. But, I mean, there's a lot of different kind of work that goes into it for your office.
For sure, yeah. We're still trying to figure out whether or not we're going to take charter buses. It's not cheap, so trying to see if we can find some sponsors for that, or we're going to may take yellow buses anyway.
Yeah.
And again, it's not like we haven't traveled that far before with traveling to Eastbrook and those kind of things, but super excited for our kids to get to go down, be at Lucas Oil, for our fan base to get to experience that as well. And, hopefully it's not your only experience, right? You want kind of that taste, because that's where, if you want to play for state finals, that's where you got to go. Right.
Yeah.
So always good for our kids to see that. I know a couple years ago we did like a summer 7-on-7 there, which was a great experience, but to get to play a full game, appreciate Concord footing the bill for that one. We're happy to be the opponent and not pay for that piece of the puzzle. So it'll be great for our kids and definitely worth the time to figure out these other things to allow them to enjoy that experience.
Well, man, I want to thank you once again for taking the time. I know you're a busy man, and I appreciate you talking to us about the other stuff going on too. And, we'll be in touch. I guess we'll be back for the Mishawaka game. So not before. We'll see you then.
Yeah, I'd love to give a shout out to our cheer squad. They've done their first competition.
Yeah.
They have a full competition season coming here. So it was great to get to watch them compete last week at Lake Central. They go to Mount Vernon tomorrow. So they're full competing, trying to make it to nationals in Florida at Disney. So we'll see kind of how the next few weeks go for them. But they had a great, first experience this past week, and we'll see how they kind of build upon that as they travel to Mount Vernon this Saturday.
Thanks for mentioning that. I had that on my website, but I'd forgotten that had happened this week. I know that when I interviewed your coach, Brenna, when she first took over, that was one of the things that was her goal. She wanted to have a competition team and get out and do this. And so it's good to see that come to fruition.
Oh, for sure. She's put a ton of time in. Our girls have put a ton of time in. I know learning those routines on top of, the sideline things that they do for our game day experience is just another piece to that puzzle. But, it was really neat to get to see them compete against, 20 plus other schools in the state at Lake Central. And we'll see kind of where they go with it. I know, obviously the ultimate goal is to make it to Disney and compete. And that would be a great experience for our kids. And we'll see how that goes here over the next few weeks as they kind of experience competition season for the first time.
Well, man, once again, thank you so much for taking the time. And I guess we'll see you in a few hours.
Yeah, that sounds great. I appreciate it.
Josh Troyer, Plymouth AD. Stay right there.
At Marshall County REMC, they are more than just your electric provider. They're your neighbors, your partners, and your connection to a brighter future. Since 1936, they have been powering homes, farms, and businesses with reliable service, innovative energy solutions, and a commitment to our community that never wavers. It's not just about keeping the lights on. It's about keeping our community strong. Marshall County REMC, powering progress, powering you. Learn more at marshallremc.com.
And we are joined by Jeff Kaiser, head coach at LaVille, here in this segment of the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. And, It was a tough one, but you hung in there. We were watching the score. You were right there with them for at least half of it.
Yeah, we played, second quarter we played, pretty solid, made some adjustments defensively, and our players responded to it. And, we communicated some things to try slowing them down, and we did for the most part. The game's 4 quarters, and, it's a good Knox team.
And once again, I know that everybody is looking at the hype around McLaughlin. He is just that good a football player. You could see that when he was a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, it's his football IQ is phenomenal. There's times we have guys in position to make a play, and he makes you look silly. And it's not by us not having the effort to get there. It's just that kid has great vision and great balance, and he makes plays that you just like, wow. He's definitely one of a kind. It's his stats are continuing to rack up, and he's doing what he does, and those guys believe in him, and he's good.
Talk about your guys, and let's start with the stuff that you saw that you liked. I mean, obviously you had guys in positions, to make plays. That's part of it. You got to finish it and execute it. But I mean, there had to be some things that you liked.
Yeah, I mean, we made some adjustments through the game, and got some feedback from the guys coming off the field, and that's what we do. We trust our guys, and so some of the things we wanted to do and adjust to, I felt the guys responded to. The downfall of that is, sometimes guys were picking and choosing to play assignment football or trying to make a big play and instead of just playing as a unit, and that's discouraging. Overall, I mean, our guys, we banged, we hustled, we were getting to the ball at times, and so I was pleased with that. Offensively, we just never got in a rhythm. Schwitz, he was 9 of 20, so he's under 50%, which is a concern. But he threw for like 138 yards, a couple touchdowns. Rusty, one thing that it's becoming a habit is we're relying on a big play on the offense, and we can't do that. We got to be able to establish drives and move the chains, and we're relying on that big play to get points, and that's just not going to, obviously losing 3 in a row doesn't help. Does support that cause that we got to get drives together on the offensive side.
It starts with running the football, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there's a lack of that. Braden Schwitz ran. He was our leading rusher last night, and it wasn't by design. I think he ran 50-some yards as our leading rusher. A couple of those were designed runs. The rest, I mean, he's scrambling and taking off, making plays, and there's some crucial times where he moved the sticks with his legs, and I'm not. That's not a bad thing, but that's not our go-to, right? Like we don't want our quarterback having to run the ball like that and take hits and this and that. It's no secret our offense, we want to spread you out. And when you spread you out, if we're completing those short passes, in football sense, it should open up a running game a little bit, right? Like you got to honor something on the perimeter, and our passing game's struggling a little bit, and it's causing our running game to basically not be there. O-line wise, I feel like we're getting a little better. Pass blocking last night was, Schwitz got hurried at some times, which isn't good. But running wise, there was surge. There was surge there. We're not getting our running backs hit the hole hard. And that's, again, those are simple things that we worked on over the summer. I'm just not quite sure why that's happening, but we're gonna figure it out. Offensive line, like I said, we were getting some surges. We were penalized probably the most last night, Rusty. We've been penalized in 2 years. Just a ton of holding calls that I kind of joked through the game, and OC was saying that we haven't had this many penalties, in a while. And I said, well, one thing's for sure, we're starting to move our feet up front, and so you start moving your feet up front. Now you're starting to reach more, right? So like, you find a positive out of it. And I was being serious. I mean, I was laughing, but I was being serious. I mean, we're moving our feet, but now we're not used to playing that way, right? So, so there's you're taking steps forward, but then you're taking steps back. So we together between the coach, staff, players, we're gonna keep working and we're gonna shore some things up.
That's got to be frustrating too, because I think I get the feeling you kind of have your finger on what the problem is, but they're not catching on to what you're trying to show.
Yeah, the thing is, you're right, Rusty, and there's just not a consistency, right? Like there's times it's okay, this part of our unit is doing exactly what we've taught them. Now this part isn't doing it, right? Yeah. Or they've gone it. We did it right here. We're doing it. And then all of a sudden it's like the wheels fall off and it's like, what happened, guys? And that's something as coaches, we got to figure out why is that happening? And again, continue, we're in the back end of our regular season. And these are things that, in a month from now, if you're doing them, you're hanging gear up. And so, it's something that we have the pieces. I mean, we truly have the pieces. We work hard every single day. We had a great week of practice going in. We felt great with the game plan. And then, like I said, there's just a lot of inconsistency that we've got to figure out. And let me tell you, like, it isn't inconsistent just because of lack of effort. The effort's there.
Yeah.
It's, teams are taking some certain things away from us, but we're two-dimensional on offense, right? We have that, and we have a really good running back, and we have a really good backup running back. We have a quarterback that can run. Like, those are things that we have that. It's not like, okay, we don't have that piece, and we're in trouble when they find out or when they force us to have to go to that phase of the game. And we have the pieces. We have guys up front that are working hard and getting into people. On defensive side, we have guys coming downhill. But it's just at times when you don't work as a unit, it just falls apart. And that's, again, the last 3 teams we've played have taken some things away, and we got to figure out a way to overcome that. And how do we do that? And anything, it's more in between the years, right? Yeah. Like, figure it out. I got guys coming out, coach, I'm sliding all over the place. I get that. But there's a certain point in time where, as a D lineman, okay, guess what you're supposed to do, right? You get down, get low, right? Grab grass. Like, those are the things that they have to make those adjustments as the game goes on. We can't call a timeout, redirect it, right? We can't, okay, hold on, Mr. Official, let's stop this game for a second because I need to tell my guy you're getting beat. Here's what you got to do to figure it. We have guys that have played this game long enough that you got to make the adjustments through the game. And it doesn't change your alignment, doesn't change our blitz pack. It doesn't change any of that. It's just a matter of make that adjustment. Because when you make that adjustment, now you got the guy going against you. He's got to make an adjustment to it, right? But if you stay in the same phase where you're getting beat every play, the guy that's going against you gets more and more confident, and he's going to be more aggressive and faster at you. Like, it's just those things that internally our guys have got to make some personal adjustments through the game, but still stay within the scheme and the rules of what you're taught.
You've had some, in three weeks in a row here, some tough opponents to do that kind of thing with too. I mean, you're talking about 3 really solid programs, 3 veteran coaches who, know how to teach their kids too. And it just becomes a tough way to, do you know what I'm saying? If you've got a team over on the other side that's kind of a confidence builder, you can learn those things a little easier. You haven't had an easy way to go to learn those things.
Yeah, it's no secret. I mean, this conference, our schedule, you look at the schedule, you look at schedule next year and you know it's going to be tough, right? I mean, it's just it's who you're facing, quality teams and quality coaches and some great athletes and good kids, on the other side of the ball. And it's just, again, like, we make adjustments, we're making plays, and then, okay, their team's figuring out a little bit. I'm getting beat a little bit. I have to clamp down and figure out how I can beat this guy across from me, right? And it's the simple things. I mean, game of football is not easy. I don't care who you're playing. The game of football is unique. You could blow a team out, but there's still challenges you have within yourself and within the unit on that field. And it's so it's a little discouraging. We're having some pieces that are falling off, and some basically just some correctable things that we have got to be able to do.
Yeah, and you mentioned it earlier. It's more mental, and that's that. What are you going to do about that? I guess that's the thing, and it's frustrating to you because you want to help them, but it's something they got to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I won't say it's a lack of effort,
right?
But is your effort in the right way? Is your effort in assignment football, or is your effort into what you choose you want to do, right? Or I think I can get to doing this and it breaks a scheme, whether it's offensive or defensively, right? Or I'm going to go as hard as I can. I'm going to sneak out and do this, or I'm going to run a little different route because I think I can be open. I'm going hard. My effort's there. I'm going hard, but is it the right thing?
Yeah.
Because if it's not, the next phase and layer of the offense or defense, it affects them in a negative way, right? Like it's got to be a unit of doing exactly, what you're taught. And I think what we're asking the kids to do isn't something we're not prepared for, and nothing we've coached the kids, right? It's just, like I said, our effort has to be doing the right thing and not just saying I'm going as hard as I can.
Right. Yeah. Well, it doesn't get any easier next week either. I'm assuming, you got Glenn coming up, but this is going to be one of those us weeks for you guys in practice.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's about us. How do we respond from this? Coach Hanley mentioned, what's the best thing about Saturday morning is Friday's over. And he hit around the button. We got to get back to work. And, again, it's about us, and again, it's not a lack of, I don't think it's a lack of our preparation or through the week and what we want to get accomplished and what we want to get better at. I don't think it's a lack of overall effort on a Friday night. By no means. I think it's just making the adjustments, being correctable and playing the game as a unit. That's the thing that I think we're lacking a little bit of. And as coaches, we got to figure it out. Maybe it's moving a guy here or there, or, putting a different guy in. If that's what we have to do to play as a unit, that's something that, we as coaches got to look in the mirror and be like, this is what we're going to do.
Well, man, I wish you good luck next week. And I guess we'll catch up during the week here.
Sounds great, Rusty. Thanks.
That is Jeff Kaiser, the head coach at LaVille. And stay right there. We'll be right back.
McDonald's restaurants in Plymouth and Bremen, Indiana are now owned and operated by local residents Bill and Flo Bolt. Bolt Enterprises are proud to own and operate all 4 McDonald's restaurants in Marshall County. Become part of the McDonald's family today with Bolt Enterprises McDonald's.
Your morning, it deserves more than just coffee. It deserves Bigby coffee. From velvety lattes to our famous sweet foam cold brews, every sip is brewed with love, laughter, and a splash of fun. All first responders and veterans receive a free brewed coffee and 20% off their entire order. Students and teachers receive 10% off with a valid school ID. Have the best day ever by stopping in to your family favorite local coffee shop where every cup comes with a smile and every day starts brighter. Stop in today and let's make it a big day. Bigby Coffee, have the best day ever, located on Columbus Drive in Plymouth.
Absolute Plumbing, Heating, Cooling of Plymouth has become one of the leading service companies in northern Indiana. Serving Marshall, Stark, St. Joe, Fulton, LaPorte, Elkhart, and Kosciuszko County since 2014. They specialize in residential, commercial plumbing, heating, and cooling services. They also handle drain cleaning, water heater repair, commercial refrigeration, furnaces, generators, and much more. And they're the area's only York brand dealer. That's why Michiana has made Absolute Heating and Cooling their one-stop shop for service needs. Locally owned and operated with over 20 years of experience in the trade. Visit their website at absolutephc.com for complete service information. Absolute Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the area's top York brand dealer.
And Justin Begonia, head coach at Bremen, joins me in this segment. And, man, another exciting, thrilling win for you guys last night.
Yeah, I know I'm going to start calling them the cardiac kids because they're killing me.
Well, okay, now I'm going to go back. First conversation we had after the Cherubusco game, and I remember he said something to me. He says, I'm sure everybody's questioning what we're doing right now. And, you even said, I think maybe I'm questioning that. I got a feeling that a lot of those questions are slowly, if not completely, getting answered right now.
Yeah, I hope so. We definitely have been working hard, right? And some, people don't see that, all the hard work that the coaches put in, the extra time, and you hope that it pays off, right? It doesn't always come to fruition, and sometimes they don't see that on the field, but I promise you, the work has been put in, the groundwork has been laid for those games like last night, and the kids, because of the work and the prep, the kids believe, and when it comes down to executing in crunch time, they don't panic. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm proud of, is that when your back's against the wall, or maybe it even looks like things are not going your way, that you fight back, right? We never give up. I think I told you that too, that
right.
I want a team that's always fighting, that's out there, always giving us a chance, right? And I try to reciprocate that back to the kids.
Looks like you had a running back. Mosier was the guy that carried you last night. 22 carries, 181 yards. That's a heck of a game.
Yeah, he and a lot of those were the hard-fought yards. He busts off some long runs, but the ones that were, I think, right, the 2-point conversion where he just gets over the line and carries two guys. I mean, those to me, right, are I don't know, they just show a little bit about grit and character, and he definitely has that, and definitely wants to be the guy that gets those hard-fought yards. And then the other thing too, right, is then, the kids, especially in the preseason or week one, that, I think, they don't believe you, or they don't, especially the kids that haven't been there, they don't know what it's like. Right. And when you tell them the whole next, they hear all the cliches, the next man up, you're one play away.
Yeah.
And it's hard for a kid to see that, right, when he's not getting all the reps, or he's not the man. But last night, right, we had 3 running backs. Parrish didn't even play because he had a high ankle sprain from the week before. And then Mosier tweaks his ankle. He's out for a significant amount of time. Hunter Cannon goes in. He cramps up. He's out. I mean, I'm 3 running backs out. I'm on my 4th running back in the game. And so it truly is, right? It truly is a team effort. It shows that you look at the stats and you see Mosier, but all those other guys sprinkled in there really, really made the difference.
Your defense too. I mean, I'm looking at some of the numbers. I held them, I think, under 100 yards rushing. They just really, week in, week out, have been that group that you can lean on, evidently.
Yeah. The first score was a trick play, and they hit us big and kind of caught us off guard. Really, the game started with a bunch of fireworks, right? We onside kick, get it. We go for a big play.
They sack fumble us, turn around, go big play to the end zone, get it. And before you could blink, it was like boom, boom, boom. And they're up 7-0. And so, that and the, them just settling in and not letting that disrupt the game plan and what we've prepared for the game, right? A lot of times that can startle you, or, I've said it a million times, momentum's a huge thing in high school football. And if you can, if you can get through the valleys, right, and get back to the peaks, that's a big challenge. And I think, mental toughness and kind of the grit and the determination week in and week out these last couple of weeks, right, are what we're most proudest of. And, even last night, Mosier breaks a run, and then he has enough game smarts to go down instead of score the touchdown so that we can clock out. We didn't even talk about that, right? You see it on college or the NFL all the time, but we didn't talk about it during the game or going into that play. He just did it.
That shows some football IQ there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I might have scored the touchdown, right? Let's say that, I'm about 20 yards away after running about 30 or 40, and I see that end zone sitting there, and I know I can coast in. I might have taken that one myself, but yeah, it does show a lot of football IQ.
Talk about where you're at right now. Obviously, you'd probably like to be able to score a few more points, maybe a little more firepower on offense, but you got to feel good about where you're at. You've won 4 straight.
Yeah, we do. Especially just building the team and them, right, having that I guess cohesiveness in the locker room and working together as a team. Nobody likes a divided locker room. The kids really care about each other and really work hard for each other. We really like that. Execution wise, we had the ball on 2 nice drives inside the 20 and fumbled it back to them. So really, I'm not going to lie. We're going to work a lot on just basics with ball security. So it's going to be a lot of handoff drills with the running backs, a lot of, we fumbled some snaps. So there's going to be a lot of quarterback center exchanges and try to sure that up really. Right. And then, sprinkle that in with some X's and O's, but really, we're still working on a lot of fundamentals, really, to kind of improve ourselves. I think going into this week, I haven't spent a lot of time looking at CMA, but I think the key for us is just to get our team better, right? Focus on us this week.
And it's that point in the season, especially with the non-conference game coming up. That's the focus. We got to do things to close out the way we want to, and there are things we're not doing well. That's what we're going to work on.
Right, and it's easy to get caught up in the moment, right, or get caught up on the, you come off a big win and to sit back and maybe not dive back into watching what you need to get better at. And we're definitely not falling into that trap. I'm not going to let them sit back and rest on that win. We got the weekend, and then Monday it's getting right back into it. And then, I always tell the kids, right, this Saturday's great. Next Saturday, they're not going to be printing about, the John Glenn game. They're going to be printing about the CMA game. And how do you want that to read?
Yeah. Well, Coach, I want to thank you for your time. We got your game this week, so I am sure I'll be in touch to bother you at some point. Right. And good luck to you, and we'll catch up with you during the week.
All right, sounds great. Thanks.
Justin Begonia, the head coach at Bremen, and we'll be right back.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little portion. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Culver's Portside Marina handles all water and recreational needs. When it comes to pontoons, Godfrey leads the industry in performance and quality, and Portside Marina has them in stock. From Sanpan, Aqua Patio, Sweetwater, and Monaco pontoons, if you're looking for a family boat, Culver's Portside Marina can help. Discover the evolution of the wake boat through luxury models offered from Centurion and Supreme Surf Boats. Yamaha Wave Runners and Kawasaki jet skis are on the showroom floor waiting. Located at 514 West Mill Street in Culver. Stop in or call them at 574-842-5000. Culver's Portside Marina.
Andy Barker joins us, head coach at Triton. I know Mitch had that game last night, but I'm telling you, that had to be – okay, I wasn't coaching in it, I wasn't playing in it, but that sounds like a classic to me.
Yeah, it was a knockdown dragout, which is what I wanted, and man, I wish you could have been there because this is obviously a little bit of a rivalry between us and them here in the last few years, and we're seeing the test of a number 4 ranked team in the state, and we were the better team last night, and the boys know it, the fans know it, the coaches know it. I think their sideline knew it by the end of the night, but it was just one of those nights where offensively we would take 1 step forward and then go 2 steps back, and then 1 step forward and then 2 steps back. We just, after our opening drive where we scored, we just could not finish a drive. And I mean, our defense was lights out again, like minus 1 big run again in their opening drive. They were lights out. So, it's super heartbreaking. The guys are obviously extremely disappointed. But on the flip side of that, I think they're finally starting to realize their potential. At least I hope they are, because again, if that was the number 4 ranked team in the state, the way we played, we're competing.
We've talked quite a bit this year, and you've got a lot of offensive weapons, and that's what people see. But I've always looked at your defense, especially your defensive front, and think that's a special crew.
Yeah, and we spent, I think you and I talked about it earlier in the week, we spent a ridiculous amount of time on defense this week, and it showed probably both for our defense and maybe a little bit for my offense. But our front 4, really the front 8.
Yeah.
Because I would say, the guys last night that were the guys were Colton, middle linebacker, Isaac at outside linebacker. They run a power sweep that's usually pretty potent, and they could not get around his corner last night. It was really awesome to watch him play, especially the fact that he had been hurt earlier that week, to the point where I didn't know Thursday if he was even going to play last night. And the fact that he was able to step up and play, borderline injured, in the manner that he played, what an amazing performance. And then Riffle on defense, Gage Riffle, he's the hardest hitting free safety I've ever coached.
I was going to say, he's not afraid to come downhill at all.
He forced 2 or 3 fumbles that we got back. Hit by himself, like a missile, man. Yeah. It's fun to watch him play defense. And yeah, I mean, now none of that happens if the front 4, to your point, don't eat up all of the defense or all the offensive linemen, right? They considering we're outmatched in size, we held our own right there until the end.
offensively, what were they doing defensively that was giving you trouble?
Well, I don't know if it was so much them as it was us. Again, you hear me preach about our assignment and playing assignment football, and again, we would rip some big plays, and we would blow 2 or 3 assignments in a row, and we would go backwards, or we'd have a penalty and it would take us backwards. So I don't know if it was so much what they were doing as opposed to just us not really executing our game plan. They got some clean shots through the A gaps that hurt us, and I'm sure they saw Winnemac did the same thing, and I have no doubt now that Caston's going to try the same thing. So
yeah.
We really need to shore up the inside of the line, and you're going to have that when you pull your guards as much as we pull our guards. It's going to leave those voids, and so we'll do some things this week to shore that up.
And I was going to say, because the people talk about their offense and the amount of points they can score, but the times I've seen Judson play, it's their defense that the speed they play at and the ferocity they play at on defense has always been impressive to me.
Yeah, I mean, the guys that know it's defense, right? It's not the fun part to watch, but it is absolutely the most important part of the game. And they were tough kids, and they're generationally deep over there when it comes to their drive for football. They hit hard, but I think, quite honestly, the thing I'm most proud of with our boys is that we were the harder hitting team. I promise you, they are waking up this morning knowing they were in a fight last night, and that's what we want. Like I preach every week before we step on the field on Friday night: be violent. Be violent. I'll let you know if you're too violent. And last night was the first time this season that I saw us with true violence. And it was there. We were there. We are literally one play away on offense, and we had several that could have went 50 plus yards from winning that game.
That is such a tough place to play too. I mean, they create that atmosphere, and you mentioned it traditionally. It's what they expect over there. It's just a really hard place to win a football game.
Yeah, I mean, their fans are great for them. Maybe not so great for us. But,
that's normal, though.
Yeah. I saw old Mr. Riffle over there shooing kids away behind our stands that were throwing stuff at our parents, apparently. So, yeah, I mean, good for them that they've created that environment, and I'm, admittedly, that's my ultimate goal for here. Like we want to create that environment where the fans are in it and just love the game of football. And so, yeah, kudos to them and their environment over there.
Sounds like you're happy with your guys. What were the things you saw that you really need to shore up, you think?
For us, I mean, there's absolutely. You never say nothing on defense, but our defense is it's really, really fun to watch. I was telling my wife this morning, I think the smartest decision I've made this season was putting Coach Atkinson at defensive coordinator. Man, he's got such a passion for it, and it shows on Fridays. Offensively is really where we need to get it done, and that hurts the heart, right? Because that's my unit. But it's purely execution. At one point in time on the headset, I'm like, I feel like I'm not calling the right stuff. And I mean, when it goes off the kid's fingertips and he's wide open for 60 yards, and Isaac, same deal. Like he had one right off his fingertips, and I promise you're not catching Isaac Quintana. And so we just needed a little bit more touch on some of our throws. And then, on the running side, Jaden had a tough night sledding, man. Because again, they were selling out to stop the run. And, if I'm trying to stop us, that's what I would do too. We just execute a little bit on that passing game, and all of a sudden they have to loosen up. And I told the guys this week that was going to be the plan. Like we needed to spread it out and loosen them up so that then we could start to execute on our running style. and we just didn't quite get there. We were close. So this week it'll be very much about execution.
Well, you got what I would call a classic trap game coming up this week too.
God.
I mean, the one thing that I've noticed about Caston over the years is it doesn't matter what their record is. When you play them, you're getting every last ounce of anything they have to give. They're going to leave it on the field, and they're hungry for a win. And you're coming off what you're coming off. This is a classic place where you could get tripped up.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better. And actually, I said it last night on the way home. Caston lost to Culver, and I would have bet a paycheck that would not happen. The defensive coordinator down at Caston and I actually worked together.
Well,
so I know him pretty well. And so the way Caston been playing, I just would not have guessed that. Now I do truly think Austin's got his guys getting better every week down there in Culver. So kudos to him, but I would not have guessed that. So I'm sure they're going to be a little upset. They'll definitely be hungry to come up here and try to get one on us. And you're right. They're sandwiched in between North Judson and Pioneer, and both teams we'd like to prove ourselves to. And so, yeah, the focus this week will be, just the execution piece and then staying the course and continuing to get better. You could see it in the boys' eyes. They were extremely disappointed, but yet I'm praying that something clicked inside their mind, and they know that they can be really, really good.
That's the thing. You got to get through to them. You play against the game, not the opponent. And you have to do that every week because you never know what's going to happen. And you're trying to play the perfect game is the bottom line.
Yeah, ultimately knowing you'll never get there.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the beauty. That's the beauty. That's the struggle within the game, right? Like you are literally driving relentless pursuit of perfection with the thought in the back of your mind that I will never make it to that. And it's tough mentally to try to wrap your head around, but then just to have that hunger for that pursuit, that's where the drive comes from.
I just remember my dad telling me that one time. He says, in your coaching career, you get to a point, and usually it's really early, where it has nothing to do with wins and losses anymore. It's about playing the perfect game. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and actually when I addressed the parents earlier in the spring, we were changing over to me, and I was talking to them, and when I said that, I actually said those exact words, relentless pursuit of perfection, realizing we're never going to make it. The looks in the audience were interesting because some of them were like, okay, yeah, I get that. And some of them were like, is this a riddle? I don't understand what I'm listening to. Right? So, the guys those that have been there absolutely understand. And sometimes when you haven't been there, it's kind of weird to completely wrap your head around.
I was going to say, if you had mothers in the stands who hadn't spent a lot of time playing sports, they probably were a little baffled by that.
Absolutely.
You have to be around it a little bit.
Yeah, even the coaches were like, geez, coach, you're getting all philosophical here right out of the gate.
Well, man, thanks for the time. I appreciate it. And we'll catch up with you this week at some point.
No problem, buddy. I appreciate you.
It's Andy Barker, the head coach at Triton, and don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank, we don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927.
And in this segment, Ron Braun, head coach at John Glenn, joins us. I know earlier in the week when we talked, you said you're not big on moral victories, but I mean, that was a heck of a game last night. You guys were right there with a chance to win it once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Kids battled hard. Had some adversity. Weren't able to overcome all that, but they battled all the way to the end for sure.
You got, once again, it just amazes me when I look at your stat lines. There's just guys all over the place that are making big contributions, whether it's receiving, running, I mean, everything. And once again, a bunch of names with big numbers that really helped you.
Yeah, I mean, we have people that are doing good things, but the unique thing about football is you got to do them in the right combination to achieve that victory, and you have to be able to execute when it really matters. And so, we're going back to the drawing board, working on that next week.
How do you feel about your defense? You held Bremen to 15. You're getting where you want to get on that side of the football.
I mean, we didn't get the victory, so
yeah,
that's not what we wanted to do. And so, bend don't break, or whatever cliche you want to say. We just need to keep doing our job, play after play after play. And I heard a bunch of other coaches come on here and say that beforehand, and it's true. It's true for anyone who's coached and anyone who knows anything about any sort of sport. The fundamentals will kill you if you don't do the fundamentals. And you have to know and understand what your responsibilities are on each different call. You practice it all week. And the difference between practice and the games are the coaches aren't there behind you to correct you right when you make the mistake.
Yeah.
And you got to remember it, and you got to take ownership of it, and you got to do it. And you got to do it so that all your other teammates, they are put in a good position too to be able to make their plays.
I'll ask you this question. I think I would know what the answer is going to be. I mean, do you ever stop coaching fundamentals? I mean, is there ever a point where you don't do them in practice in one night? I'm sure that's something that you go over every single night.
I mean, I would say no. You don't ever stop coaching fundamentals. You should be doing fundamentals when it's later in the season as your warm-ups. You should be reminding kids, what they should be doing. And when you're not coaching the starters, you're coaching up the younger kids or the backups so that, when they get their opportunities, they can step in. Because one thing that I know about playing in this conference, from last year to this year is weird things are going to happen. Things that you don't expect are going to happen. And you're going to have to use the next guy up. And if you're not coaching the next guy up and you're waiting until you have to use them, you're not going to be in a good opportunity. So you might as well coach every kid up the same.
And it's about repetition too, I got to feel. I mean, if you can react at that speed, basically without thinking, because you've got so much repetition on that just makes you a better player.
Well, absolutely. And a lot of it comes down to, again, the mental game, the mind. If you understand what you're looking for in a formation and you see the keys that go, it's going to help you react quicker. And, same thing goes, on offense. When you understand what play you're running and you see a guy cross your face, or you understand the rules of your blocking scheme, you know how to react to it. The tricky thing is the guy next to you on both sides going to react the same way that you are going to react? That makes it, allows you to make the play correctly. And that's the tough thing. And that's why lots of people come and watch football on Friday night. That's why it's special. You only get 10 guaranteed games. It's a very hard game to scheme and be able to have execute perfectly every single time. And that's why it's entertaining.
Got another nice night from Archer, throwing the football last night. He had a touchdown and over 100 yards passing. He continues to be, I would imagine, a bright spot. As young as he is at that quarterback spot, having the year he's having has got to be a bonus.
I mean, absolutely. Archer has a high upside. He's only a sophomore. He's developing. He's getting a better understanding of what to do. Again, it comes down to, that leadership component, because he is, a quarterback. So I tell him that means that you are a leader on the team. And so that's definitely, an upside for us with him coming along how he is.
once again, Benwell got into the act throwing the football last night too. He hearing the footsteps from the guy behind him.
No, I don't think so. I think the guys know and understand, who has what roles. And I mean, if we had to look at that, Deegan Conroy would be the guy to go there. He's got a pretty good pass completion rating over the course of the year, and I trust him.
Braden threw that 62-yarder though. And that was the first play. If I'm right, when I was talking to Justin a little earlier, they onside kick. So there's a lot of fireworks within the first 2 minutes of the game. The onside kick, the turnover, and then you guys score.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of excitement at the beginning of the game. It's not, what I like to see from the defensive side. I don't like the excitement. I like a nice boring game where I'm not stressing out there. But yeah, kids were competing. Kids were looking to secure an advantage in the game, and we were able to hold an advantage for a large majority of the game, and Bremen just made more plays than we did.
Talk about what obviously you're going to have focus on fundamentals this week. What are other specific things you really feel you got to get better going forward?
I mean, I think we need to get better at supporting each other out on the field and understanding that everything's not always going to go right. And so when something doesn't go right, you don't want to dig yourself a deeper hole by compounding your mistakes. And there's a delicate balance that you have to go there. You want kids to try to make plays, right? But you also want them to be smart and know when to get back to the line, when to tuck the ball, when to not try to do something risky that could cause a turnover. And so it's a delicate balance there. Like, our kids compete all the way to the end. I wouldn't change that for anything. But, as we get more time with some of these younger kids, they're going to get a better understanding of when is the right time to have that risk reward on the field.
I'm sure you haven't had a whole lot of time to look at LaVille, maybe just in passing as you were getting ready this week. But this is kind of a rivalry game for you guys again, that US 6 thing going on. And they're going to come over to your place. They're hungry for a win, trying to put some things together. This is going to be a big one on Friday.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I feel like it's a big one every Friday. We are not fortunate enough to get a night off, right?
Yeah.
And so they're going to come over. They have beat Glenn multiple years in a row. And so we're well aware of that. All of our kids know their kids over there, vice versa, coaching staffs, all that stuff. And it's going to be a tough game. And, the team that makes more plays and does those fundamentals once again is the team that's going to be happy at the end of the night.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for taking the time, as always, and we'll catch up with you during the week.
All right, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
That is Ron Brown, the head coach at Glenn, and stay there. We'll be right back.
Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour, with potential at $25 an hour within a year. Quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day one. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
And we're with the Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week, John Kleindus. Man, I've been waiting to talk to you for a couple of years. I got to admit, one of the reasons why you're in this position is because you probably don't remember Tony at all. He was quite a guy, but he would have loved you. I mean, watching you play, I get the feeling there's nothing you'd rather do on a Friday than be out there.
And that means a lot to me, coming from you. Obviously, I do love playing football. It means a bunch to me. I'm a 3-sport athlete, but football is what I thrive for. I wake up every morning, and that's what I want to go do. I want to go out there and play football and make my teammates better. I just got to say that even 2 years ago, you got to play as a sophomore a little bit. I know that my partner Joe McKee the minute you're out there, he says that guy is my guy and once again, anybody who's seen you play, there's an energy and a joy in what you do that is infectious to people watching you. Yes, sir. And, I do that for my family. My grandmother passed away in the off season this year, and that's what I'm really out here to prove is she never got to see me play football, so I'm really playing for her this year. And all the years before that, I'm just playing for everyone out there in the stands, and I want to make everyone laugh and have fun out there. It should be fun, shouldn't it? Yes, that's what football is all about. It's just the fun and making people have love for the game. I was told to ask you if you were supposed to be on the field during that punt block. Now, your coach is sitting right here with us. Do you want to be diplomatic, or do you want to tell us what happened? So I'll be completely honest. I was not supposed to be on the field, but, I'm glad I was out there. And I was even laid off the ball if you guys go back and watch it. I shouldn't have blocked that, but I'm really glad I did. I was really happy, and I think it made my night. See, but that's one of those things that goes with this award. I mean, you're a lineman. You got to do what you got to do, and it doesn't seem to me it matters to you what side of the ball you're on. You just want to play and play hard. And, it is what it is. Last year, I was out there during practice. I dislocated my pinky. It was bent in a 90-degree angle. I went over to the trainer, popped it back in place, and I was right back out there. And all my teammates were like, "Oh, John, are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine. Let's get back to practice. Let's develop our skills and have a good day." Talk about yourself a little bit. When did you start playing football? So I started playing football in 2nd grade. No one in my family ever really played football. They never got into it. We were more of a working family, but as soon as I started in the 2nd grade, I knew I had a love for it. I've always wanted to play running back, but coaches are always on me and tell me I never can't. So I guess that is what it is. I tried getting Ben to toss me the ball one time. That didn't work out. Well, you got in on a punt block you weren't supposed to be in on, so maybe, there's still time in this year. Yeah, I tried getting on it too, but some person came up and pushed me over, and oh man, I was mad. Let me tell you. Well, remember there was a guy named The Fridge that kind of made this all, possible for a lineman to run the football. So, don't lose hope. We got a couple weeks left, so maybe Mishawaka comes around or something. We need someone to punch it in. I'm the man. I'm looking at the face of your head coach. I don't think you've sold him at all. I don't think there's any sales job there to be done. I don't think I'm ever getting that running back. It's a joke at this point. Talk about your family. You mentioned them. That's obvious. They're obviously very important to you. And your mom and dad's names, your brothers and sisters? Yes, so I have a mom, a stepmom, and a dad. And my dad's name is John as well. So is my grandpa. And my mother's name is Erin, and my stepmother's name is Heather. And they all mean really a lot to me. And my biggest supporter, in my opinion, is my sister. Her name is Danae, and she has a little daughter named Nova. And after the game, man, win or loss, I go out there, they cheer me up. I could be crying in their arms or laughing out loud. They really make me want to play ball. It's obvious that family means a lot to you. Yeah, family's one thing that really does bring it out. On the field, I try to be supportive, and sometimes I'm not, but I promise it's always good intent out there, and I love everyone out there on that field, man. Let's talk about that fire a little bit. I can recall a few jumping off sides penalties and things like that over the time. There's that anxiousness. How do you temper that? Because there is a line. And obviously you've figured out where that is. How do you do that? Yeah, so I jump off sides all the time, and I mean it's my fault. I mean, I don't watch the ball, to be completely honest. I think that it's better for me to time it up and just get out there, because if I do watch that ball, I'm kind of off. So, but this year I've kind of started to watch the dude in front of me and see when he moves. So I'm getting a little bit better at that. Still jumped off sides a couple times. And I'm not always hearing the quarterback at center either.
I was going to say, you're the center at quarterback.
Yeah, but we're trying. We're getting it out there. I had a couple of struggles today during practice. Got yelled at, but, I love the game, so it is what it is. And I always try keeping my head up.
Let's talk about the other sports you play, too. I mean, you said you're a three-sport athlete. What else do you do?
Yes, sir. So I wrestle in the winter, and in the spring I play baseball. I'm not the best at it, but it's fun.
Oh, you're a baseball guy.
Yeah.
Oh, now I
Yeah.
love you even more, man.
Yeah, I play baseball. I'm not the best at it, but my other good sport is probably wrestling. I haven't done as much off-season wrestling as I would have wanted to, but I wrestled with Anthony Popey. He's really my perseverance and joy into that sport, and he taught me really everything I know, along with Travis Smith.
I was going to say, Travis and Anthony, you couldn't have two better teachers than that.
Oh, man, just the joy that they bring in the room when you're sitting there down, I mean, running around and everything, tired. They bring up the energy, and it gets you going. You have a good day.
So when did you get started in wrestling?
Wrestling, I would say like 3 or 4
Oh,
years old.
really? Okay.
Yeah. So there actually used to be a club in our auxiliary gym here in Plymouth, and I came into that when I was about 3 or 4, and I've been wrestling since.
So how about baseball? When did you get involved with that?
Baseball, so T-ball. I don't really.
Well, there you go.
I don't
That's
know
a
what
long time
age
ago.
that was, but yeah, I haven't really progressed in that sport. But
So what position you play?
I play first base. I can do some catching, but I haven't done any of that in high school. Mostly just first base because I tore my meniscus my sophomore year in wrestling. So I really just stick to first base in baseball.
I was going to say, you look like a catcher to me.
Yeah, I can do it, but it's a lot of pressure on my knee, and I mean, my right knee may or may not be hurting, so we got to figure out what that is after the season's done.
I'm going to say, you have the mentality of a catcher, too. I raised one, so I know that, too. It's just that get me dirty, get me down into everything, and that's kind of the way you go at it, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's the way I play everything, man. I play with my hair on fire. I forget who told me that. I think it was Gene Skirvin. Told us to play with our hair on fire my sophomore year, and I mean that's what I thought of every time I'm in there on defense. I just want to get back there and make a play for my team.
I got to be honest, hair on fire, that's an old guy term, so yeah, it's got to be Coach Skirvin.
Yeah.
That's from one old guy, so anyway. Let's talk about school a little bit. What's your favorite subject?
So my favorite subject used to be math, and I'm really good at math until I got into pre-calculus and trigonometry, and trigonometry spanked me, man. Let me tell you. It was the most confusing thing ever, and that's where I cut it off. But, I have a 3.5 GPA. I enjoy school. I am currently involved in an EMT program to get fully certified as an EMT, and I am already fully certified as a firefighter.
Okay, we talked to Ben last week. He's in that same program. I mean, talk about that a little bit. It's brand new, but you guys, you're going to, I'm guessing, have jobs when you get done.
Yes, sir. So the fire department here in town hires 3 people a year full time. And, well, we have about 3 guys that teach us, and they teach us separately on different days. And, we just really build really good bonds with those dudes. And they work for the fire station. So
Right.
Once we get out of this program, it's just going to be a really good spot for us to go for our next step in our life.
You have any aspirations to go to college then, or just is this going to be enough?
I mean, I love football. I really strive to play football, and I try doing my best to get out to recruiters and everything. But I feel like if I can't find a college that wants to, help me with money, because I'm not that wealthy, and if they could help me with the money and they have a paramedic or a health class that I could go into, and I think I would go play ball. I love football, so.
Well, man, it was great to get to know you. It was great to talk to you, and good luck the rest of the season, and congratulations.
Thank you, sir. We hope to beat that Warsaw this week.
John Kleindance, the Plymouth offensive and defensive lineman, and we'll be right back.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
Your morning, it deserves more than just coffee. It deserves Big B coffee. From velvety lattes to our famous sweet foam cold brews, every sip is brewed with love, laughter, and a splash of fun. All first responders and veterans receive a free brewed coffee and 20% off their entire order. Students and teachers receive 10% off with a valid school ID. Have the best day ever by stopping in to your family favorite local coffee shop where every cup comes with a smile and every day starts brighter. Stop in today and let's make it a big day. Big B Coffee, have the best day ever, located on Columbus Drive in Plymouth.
And it's time to announce this week's Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week. It's given in honor of longtime Marshall County Max 98.3 broadcaster. Tony, who died suddenly just about a year ago, long before his time, and left a legacy behind of dedication to his craft. Work ethic was unmatched, and a special devotion to the athletes and the coaches in the area. And it's that legacy that we like to honor every week by giving out this award. And we will tell you who that is right after this message from Johnson Danielson Funeral Home.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
And this week we go to the world of soccer and Bremen High School. And our Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week is Avery Malcolm, a senior soccer player for the Bremen Lady Lions, who will be in the finals of the conference championship, actually in probably just a few minutes. So Avery Malcolm, Bremen High School, is our Athlete of the Week. And earlier this week, I told Mitch Columbi, I think I know who it is. Avery scored 5 goals on senior night earlier this week against Riley. And I said, I don't think anybody's going to match that. And guess what? Somebody did. She did. Thursday night, 6 more goals against Jimtown, all 6 of Bremen's goals. So just this week, 11 goals. Those 6 on Thursday gave her the Bremen school record for most goals in a season. Earlier in the season, she had a 5-goal game against Argus. So scoring machine. Avery Malcolm of Bremen High School on the girls soccer team is our Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week. She'll receive a certificate, a history of the award, a T-shirt commemorating that achievement, and as we've heard over the weeks, also be a guest on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Avery will be eligible for our Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Year Award later this spring, and that brings along with it a plaque and a college scholarship. That's compliments of Max 98.3 and Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. It's the Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Week, and that is brought to you by Johnson Danielson Funeral Home of Plymouth. So that's going to do it for our show this week. Don't forget to join us next week. We'll check in with all the coaches again about their Friday night games. Couple of programming notes. Football is always big. Thursday Night Lights starts it off on the football weekend here on Max 98.3. 7 o'clock we start, and we'll go around the county, talk to all the coaches, get a scouting report of their upcoming games for Friday. Friday night, our game of the week takes us to Bremen High School, where the Culver Academy Eagles will come in, and we'll have that one for you. Join myself and Joe McKee for all the play-by-play action. Our pregame will start at 6:30, and our kickoff will be at 7. That's a Max 98.3 game of the week, Friday night at Bremen versus CMA. Thanks for listening, and have yourselves a great weekend.